Today, when as a youngster somebody wants to go and do a startup business, they are looking at countries like Switzerland, Malaysia, Canada, because they do have a conducive environment. They support businesses with a lot of financial background, with a lot of hand holding happening. And I believe, in that sense, India, as a politician of this nation, I believe that we should work towards making sure that we strengthen our economy. We make sure that our currency is stable. We make sure that there is lowest levels of corruption and red tape. We should make sure that ease of actually creating a business. I mean, when you look at it in a country like US, Canada, Denmark, within 12 hours you can actually start, create a business and then start operating. India doesn't happen that way. We should make sure that doesn't happen. We should make sure there are reasonable corporate taxes. We should make sure that there are tax breaks for small business owners. We should make sure that there is a good deal of infrastructure put in place. In our state, we are trying to do that, but I think this should happen across the nation in every state, irrespective of the states. And then, most importantly, in terms of investing in our human resources, we do not invest much in our higher education. That I believe should be very dedicatedly happening in this nation. I mean, more than that, more than all of this, where people like me, policymakers like me, can directly have some putting in some role is when we start legislating very, very forward thinking policies on technology and business. Till date, if you think about it, India doesn't have policies, good policies in for upcoming technologies. We do not have a great artificial intelligence policy till date, a nationwide policy. We do not have policy on cyberbullying. I mean, I can go on and on, but we need to have these policies, forward thinking policies. Uh, as the name of your series goes, long short is short. All I'm trying to say is that the fundamental responsibility of politicians and policymakers of this country is to create a dreamland for our entrepreneurs, for our citizens. Surveys done by Oxford Economics and Institute for Business Value, they say that 90% of Indian businesses, Indian startups fail because they're not able to manage this team well. One, two, most of the ideas are borrowed. So these are major causes. Like when we come up with a brilliant business idea, we should really not shy away from asking questions like, does India need one more Wix paper hub? Does India need one more Oppo phone? Or does India need maybe one more screaming television channel? I mean, you'll have to make sure that the product or the idea that you're coming up with, is already not there in the market. You should be able to fill the gaps. But most of the times, what we do is we try to improvise on whatever is existing. So that often doesn't work. We've seen many businesses fail, although many people want to do support. We have not seen it work. So idea is we should not shy away from asking these questions. And the other thing, as a politician, as a woman, I've learned to plan for is plan for is uh, uh, you'll have to certainly also factor in the fact that what will you do if you fail, how badly can you fail, or maybe if you fail at a certain percentage, how will you get out of it. Because especially for my women friends out there, I want to point this out. When a man fails, they'll say, he tried, bechara usne koshish kiya hai. But then when a woman fails, then they'll say, see, women can't do business. So it will come upon all of us as a group, as women. So we'll have to have a failure plan in place. Failure plan doesn't mean that you are bound to fail, but it only means that you know the kind of risk that you're taking, and you also know how to get out of it and make sure that you start again and make sure that this failure becomes part of your success story one day. This failure should not stop you. So unless and until you plan for it, in this age of global era, I believe if we do not find a conducive environment in the place where we are, we can register a business anywhere else in this globe today. Maybe you can register a business in Singapore, but stay back in India, make your headquarters India, grow as a global business from here, but then take support of the global policies. The policies have been relaxed throughout the nation. There are free trade agreements today. So we don't have to think that we are limited just because India doesn't have this policy, India doesn't support that policy. This pessimism should not creep into us. Idea is to make sure we break that ceiling. Idea is to make sure that we find a way out of the current situation and still thrive and still make our country proud. So I believe in this global era, one should take advantage of that. Sitting here right now online, I can register a company in Denmark and start operating like today. Nobody is stopping me. We should be able to think big. We should be able to think globally. And at the same time, I want to once again reiterate that, while minding our own business, we should also mind what is happening in the society, and we should voice it out. If intelligent people, if innovators, if the cream of the society doesn't talk about this society, it is going to hurt all of us in a long run. That has been proven in history many a times, and we shouldn't be a part of that mistake, is what I wanted to say.